How's it, grade 12s? I'm just going to be showing you how you do your calculator work with stats. I'm only going to be focusing on the calculator work, none of the actual theory type questions. Okay, so I'm going to be doing the 2019 prelim paper 2. I'll be doing questions 2 and 3 with you. All right, so if we have a read here, it says measurements were collected from 12 people to determine whether the people with longer arms are taller than people with shorter arms. And they've given us a column for the candidates, a column for the arm span, and then a column for the heights. Use your calculator to determine the equation of the least squares regression line, in other words, line of best fit. Give your answers correct to 4 decimal places. So this is what they're asking for here, this equation here. This equation is given on your formula sheet. Okay, so in order to put this onto our calculator, put your calculator into stat mode. And we want this one here, the bivariate one, because we've got 2 sets of data, the X and the Y. All right, so we're going to press number 2. And as you can see, we've got an X and a Y column, and that corresponds to these ones here. That's your X, that's your Y. So I'm going to enter all of these into the X column quick. Okay, so there's all my X values. Now I'm going to put in my Y value. So I just press down and I go across. Now this is important, grade 12s. This 156 needs to correspond with that 162, 157 with the 160. So you need to enter this in order. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, and there's all my data that has been entered. Okay, once you've entered all of your data, press AC. You're going to press Shift, and then you're going to press 1 for the stat menu here. So press 1. And what we're looking for is we're looking for this number 5, the regression. Okay, so number 5. And if you have a look at your formula, we've got this A and this B. So there's our A, which is number 1. And what we want to do with this is they're telling us to round it off to 4 decimal places. So we're going to get here Y is equal to 14.0 to 4 decimal places. So that's going to be a 6. So 0566. Then our B value. So again, press AC, Shift, go back into that stat menu, regression. And now we're looking for the B value. And again to 4 decimal places. So that's going to be a 2 plus 0.9282x. And there's our regression line. Okay. Then question B, Caitlin's arm span is measured to be 160 centimeters. What would her estimated height be? Now, you can use the calculator, but I prefer using the actual regression line, which we've just calculated over here. And if we have a look, they're asking for, they've given the arm span. So the arm span is your X value. So that's what you're going to plug in there, 160. So we will get and then I'm going to plug in the 160 into the X value. And here I'm going to follow what it says on the front. How many decimal places? I'm just going to make it 1 decimal place. So we get Y is equal to 162.6 centimeters. Okay, these type of questions, I'm not going to go through, not really calculator work. That's more theory stuff. Okay, let's have a look at question 3. Right, so question 3 is saying, hummingbirds are amongst the smallest of birds, named due to the humming sound created by the rapid flapping of their wings 12 to 80 times per second. enabling them to hover in mid-air. The lengths x in millimeters of 50 hummingbirds have been measured and the results are recorded on the table below. So we've got a class between 40 and 42 millimeters, we have 6 hummingbirds. A class of 46 to 48, 14, and so on. Calculate the estimated mean length of the hummingbirds. Now, this is going to be an estimated mean because we've got class intervals. We don't know what the exact values are. For example, here, we just know that there's 6 that lie between 40 and 42. But what are the numbers? Okay, and that's why it's going to be estimated. Now, in order to do your estimated mean, you need to find the midpoint of your class. And how do we find the midpoint? You take that plus that, get an answer, divided by 2. So it's always the end 2 points, added together, divide that by 2. Okay, so we can see that the midpoint here would be 41, the midpoint here would be 43, the midpoint here 45, midpoint 47, 49, 51. Okay, so this is where I'm going to use my calculator, and I put it back into stat mode, and I'm going to use this one here, just one variable. Okay, now here's the problem. If your calculator is like this and it's just got the X column, we need a frequency column in order to put these values in. So what I want you to do is just go Shift, Setup, you're going to press down, you're going to look for this one here, Stat, press 4, and you're going to put your frequency on. And what it's done, it's brought up your frequency column then. Okay, so my X values are going to be these midpoints, 41, 43, 45, 47, 49, and 51. So that's what I'm just going to enter now into the calculator. And 51. Okay, now I'm going to press down and then across, and what I'm going to do is now I'm going to enter these frequencies into the frequency column. All right, right, so once I've got all the data in, I'm going to press AC. I'm going to go Shift, go into the stat menu, and what I'm looking for now is the variance, number 4. Okay, and what they're asking for here is the estimated mean, and that is your mean right there, that little X bar. So it's number 2, and that is our estimated mean. So X bar equals 45,92 millimeters. Okay, next question. Use your calculator to determine the estimated standard deviation of the length of the hummingbird. So standard deviation is represented by sigma. I'm just going to clear that. Go back into our stat mode. Our data is still in the calculator. So Shift back into that stat mode, into variance, and there it is there. Okay, so that is your standard deviation, number 3. And let's round this off to 1 decimal place, so we get 2.9 millimeters. Okay, and that is it for your calculator work, guys. That's how you do it. All the best.